Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now, I got a question. Does anybody know who these two people are? Can anybody tell me their names? Does anybody know who these two people in front of the podium are?
They don't know the man on the left.
He used to live right over here.
Oh, that's Jim Eaton.
It's Jim Eaton and Eaton and Miller. They both passed away since the last time we gathered here. They were members of the Friends of Milton Township Cemetery Authority, and they've gone home. Now, do we remember what they did? Do we remember what they contributed? I don't know. Did they do anything? Yes, they did. They were very instrumental in everything that's been going on with the Friends of Milton Township. And that's why we remember veterans who passed away, people who served in the military and died and afterwards passed away also. We need to remember. Why do we need to remember? Because as the book of Ecclesiastes says, there's a time to be born and a time to die. There's a time to be happy and a time to be sorrowful. There's a time for everything under the sun. And there's a time to remember. And we need to remember the good things that these people and these veterans have done. And someday, hopefully, they will remember what you have done because you have made a contribution, because you have come out, you have showed up, you have been a person who made a difference. This is my prayer to the Almighty, that all of us realize the fact that we are important, that we make a difference, and that we come out and be loyal to the causes which demand our loyalty. Now I ask God to give his blessing to this event, to all of you here present, that you may have health, happiness, and prosperity for the rest of your lives. If you agree with me, say amen.
Amen.
At this time, I'd like to bring forward John Menino, recently elected supervisor of Milton Township. He is also the board of directors of Lion International in Wheaton. He assists with the remodel of the Memorial Park, volunteer of the Northern Illinois Food Bank and other local food banks, contributing member of the Susan G. Comer Breast Cancer Foundation, volunteer at Just of the DuPage Ministries, and found an Infinity Realty. Good businessman. With his wife, Michelle, they are the parents of 7 children. God bless him. John Menino.
What an absolutely beautiful day. As I was watching Alex Hines over here that helped me set this up, I would love it if everybody would give a round of applause for Alex and his contributing this year. Most beautiful brochure that he put together, and I'm just honored to work with him. So I'd just like to start off by saying a very large thank you to the people that have made this event possible. Milton Township Cemetery Authority, the Friends of Pioneer Cemeteries, A very special friend of mine sitting front row, Bob Jacobson. Without you, this wasn't possible. Thank you. Please. Learned a lot of history from him, and I guess he likes golf too. Jim Scheffler, Kathy Rathje, Joellen Kowalski. Thank you, Joellen. I love your outfit. The Illinois Sons of Veterans of the Civil War. Michael Zaffron. Without you, Michael, a lot of this couldn't be possible. I love your pipes. Thank you. And all of you, of course, for attending. Thank you for being here. You can clap. You're allowed. You're allowed. Okay. All of you are special. I'm very excited to be able to begin having these events now that COVID and the vaccine is becoming more accessible and the CDC guidelines have loosened. I look forward to holding many more of these events, not only for the cemetery authority, but for the rest of the township as well. We're preparing to open doors once again within the next few weeks. I expect, and I'm expecting to see all of you come visit. No, that's a joke. Okay. Today concludes the end of my second week in office as the new Milton Township Supervisor. I am very honored to be serving in this new role. For those who are not aware, Milton Township also has a brand new Board of Trustees. I'm honored to say that one of them are here today, Drew Ellis. Thank you for being here today, Drew. Jeff Castle, Joe Soto, and Dan Malenko. We also have a new clerk who is here today, Nick Yadaf Nathwani. Thank you for being here, Nick. He's in the back. Also in the back, our very, very good assessor who has dedicated his life to serving Milton Township and helps the people of Milton, Chris Levan. I don't know if I saw him, and I feel ashamed if he's here. Our Highway Department, Gary Muefeld. Thank you. Yeah, please. I'd also like to say one of my very good friends and of recent is here, and just an honorable man, and I look forward to his leadership here in Wheaton. Our Mayor, Phil Cease, in the back. Mayor, thank you for being here today. And I hope I didn't miss anybody except for Paula McGowan on the school board. Thank you for your service, Paula. Another person that has been influential in my political life. I don't find myself as a politician, more of a businessman, but I'd like to just acknowledge Marty Keller is here today. He runs our CERT program. Thank you, Marty. We recently were able to update the rod fences here in this enclosure, several of the graves, with help of Bob Jacobson, which turned out absolutely beautiful. Thank you again, Bob. Maintaining these beautiful cemeteries takes a lot of work. So please do not hesitate to reach out if you're interested in volunteering to help and keep these grave sites preserved for the future generations to enjoy as well. There is no more fitting place for a Memorial Day service than right here, and I'm honored to be here with you. This grave site was established around 1842 on what used to be a part of Irel Jewell Homestead. A member of the Jewell family, they were upset with the treatment they were receiving from the officers operating Pleasant Hill Cemetery and on Geneva Road. A little drama here, but that was back then. A few years later, in March of 30th, 1872, Elijah Jewell, Souther H. Jewell, Proctor Cooley, Arthur Cooley, and Thomas Reese formed the Jewell Cemetery Association and caused a survey of the cemetery to be plotted and recorded in DuPage County. Today is a day to honor the servicemen and women who died in service to our country, protecting our rights to gather together a community like we have today. My father gave his life in Vietnam War, so maintaining and honoring this historical grave is especially important to me. Because those buried here are veterans and heroes who served our country and served it well. It is with great pride and honor that the heroes of this country alongside you all by saying, God bless those servicemen and women who gave their lives preserving everything we hold near and dear to us. With that, I wish you a very great Memorial Day weekend.
Well, that was a wonderful thing. I'd like to call forward Bobby Welch. He's the state's senior vice commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars to give a little Memorial Day speech. Thank you very much.
Commander Zaffron, thank you. It's absolutely a pleasure of mine to be here today to represent the Veterans of Foreign Wars and also as a member of Camp 2, Sons of Union Veterans. It really is an honor to represent both. Across our country this weekend, Americans are coming together as a nation to remember those lost in the clash of battle, the thunder of bombs, the roar of tanks, the rumbling of airplanes flying overhead, and the scream of artillery shells. This Memorial Day, we come together to honor the many sacrifices made for our freedom. Get 'em. As we enjoy living in the land of the free and the home of the brave, we must continue to remind Americans that there is no freedom without bravery. And those we honor today were brave when it counted the most. Amid the war-torn decades we've endured, we take great pride in these heroes. These men and women who believed they were just doing their duty. They had strength when the situation demanded it, determination when everything felt lost, and devotion, courage, and patriotism when others looked to them for guidance. No one ordered them to practice the most basic of human ideals. They did it because they were Americans and lived in a nation worth defending. Generation after generation has been fortunate enough to reap the benefits paid for by those who believe that freedom is worth fighting for, and if necessary, worth dying for. In cemeteries across America and around the world today, people will pause to spread flowers on the graves of those lost in war, but today should not be about the sorrow we feel at their loss, and not about mourning. What it should be about was best expressed by General George S. Patton back in 1944 at a military cemetery in France. Looking out across a field filled with rows of crosses marking the graves of men who, just days before, had been part of his army, Patton said, "We should thank God that such men lived." And that is what this very special day is all about. Being thankful that such brave men and women have lived, and to pay tribute to those heroic patriots who bravely rose up and fought for something greater than themselves, protecting a home to which they never returned. They sacrificed everything for the noblest of causes. And it is up to us to carry their memory forward in an effort to repay a debt that can never truly be repaid. Flowers, memorials, flags at half-staff, and the sad notes of taps, as meaningful as they are not enough. What we really must do to honor their sacrifice is to live what they died for. Live the America they died for. country of freedom, equality, opportunity, and unlimited promise. Live filled with hope. Hope that what they gave us will last forever, and that freedom and opportunity will find all who seek it. Live to preserve their legacy, educating all who believe Memorial Day is just another holiday, and passing along our knowledge to the next generation so they may do the same. We must ensure that the youth of tomorrow understand the true cost of freedom. Today, we do more than just carry on a tradition dating back to 1866, when the first formal Memorial Day observances were conducted. We go beyond tradition, beyond remembering, and beyond mourning. Today, we work together to make this the country they died for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Time for a song again. Would you please all join me in singing the Battle Hymn of the Republic?
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can see the righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
Now we have to call up the camp commander. Oh, that is me. I'm the PA Sheriff at camp number 2. We are the sons of the Union veterans of the Civil War. We are the direct descendants of the GAR. Our post is located in Aurora at the GAR Hall. We meet there about once a year. We usually meet in the southern suburbs. And the VCW is officially recognized as the GAR's successor, receiving the Congressional Charter in 1954, Public Law 605. Great-grandsons, nephews, grandnephews, great-grandnephews, etc. of soldiers, sailors, and Marines who were mustered into federal service of the Union Army or Navy during the War of the Rebellion, 1861-65. Members must be at least 14 years of age and must be not convicted of any crime. Plus, we also take children at age 14 as junior members to 14. And as stated above in our charter, they also have to not be convicted of a crime, which I hope at 14 years old they're not. At this time, before I have a little speech about Memorial Day, I'd like to recognize 2 of my brothers. Bobby Welch, would you please step forward? And Lee Lassay, would you please step forward? These 2 brothers are our brothers of the year. I couldn't make up the decision which one served us best. Lee has been spearheading our cemetery work. Our organization restores, replaces, raises, cleans. I think at Bluff City we've placed 25 markers so far, with 15 more to go. We've cleaned 188. We've cleaned over 300. And he's been spearheading that. And Brother Welch has brought in 7 new members. A couple are here today, and also has brought a great amount of resources in cash money toward the Benjamin Stevenson project, recently $7,500. So these 2 brothers are what our brotherhood is about, and they truly represent fraternity, charity, and loyalty. Since this is the 153rd anniversary of the GAR acknowledgement of Memorial Day as May 30th, with General Order Number 11 on May 5th, 1868, the question is, why was May 30th chosen? From my research, I found the claim that May 30th was a day when no battles were fought during the Civil War. Now, I got that from Chaplain Jerry. So, was it true? And I said, well, I'll have to do some research. So my research partner in life and I found out, yes, that was the only day in 4 years of conflict that there was no battles. For the record, 25 places have claimed to be the birthplace of Memorial Day. Let us start with a claim from Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, that on the 4th of July, 1864, some graves were decorated, making the village the birthplace. One of the oldest claims is that of Jackson, Mississippi, where Sue Landon Vaughn, a descendant of President John Adams, put out a call to decorate Confederate graves on April 26, 1865. Her act is commemorated in stone on a monument erected in 1888 on the old state capitol grounds at Jackson, now known as Confederate Park. Perhaps the most beautiful claim is the event in Columbus, Mississippi, where 4 women in Friendship Cemetery on April 25, 1866, decorated the graves of their fallen soldiers. They also honored 40 federal soldiers buried there, which brought about the writing of the poem, The Blue and the Gray, by Francis Mills Finch. Another interesting claim is from Hopkintown, Delaware County, Iowa, on November 7, 1865. A monument was erected to 44 soldiers from Lenox College who served in the Civil War. It was first thought that this was the earliest monument erected, but earlier were erected at Kensington, Connecticut, and Stone River National Battlefield, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. An even earlier event was on April 13, 1862, where Mrs. George H. Evans decorated 17 graves of soldiers who died in defense of the Capitol at a ceremony in Arlington Heights, which is near Washington, D.C. She was recognized in 1873 by the GAR Post 12, Des Moines, as originator of Memorial Day. Other claims have been made by Richmond, Virginia, that Cassandra Oliver Moncure had decorated graves in Hollywood Cemetery in June of 1866. I always laugh at that Hollywood Cemetery. It just doesn't make sense with Hollywood being entertainment capital. And in Winchester, Virginia, where the Women's Memorial Society observed the June 6, 1866 anniversary of the death of General Turner Ashby. Mrs. John A. Logan, wife of the Commander-in-Chief of the GAR, recounted more than once her trip of March 1868 to see the battlefields around Richmond and Petersburg. Carbondale, Illinois, the home area of General Logan, held a service on April 29, 1866, in which returned veterans planned and participated in decorating graves of their brothers in arms who had fallen in battle. I could go on forever, but for the purpose of brevity, I thought less would be more. On a personal note, Decoration Day, I thought as a little guy it was a deadline day to plant flowers at the cemetery. The nuns at St. Mary's grade school set me straight on a meaning of the day. Thank you. All right, we'll have another song. God Bless America. Please join in.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains, through the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And now I call upon Chaplain Kowalski, and Dr. Anna Quinzio-Zaffron to join me at the podium. And please bring your program. What we're going to sing is a song written in 1912 to the tune of Auld Lang Syne. Now, for those of you of a certain age, you might not know of Guy Lombardo and, da 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 da. So I know everyone looks younger than me here, so follow along, and I want you all to sing out. Are we ready?
Bring flowers now to decorate in memory of the brave. The melting fragrance of the bloom should rise above the grave, and we will sing a stirring hymn on this memorial day, to keep the heart of love awake for patriot blue and gray. In numbers great, yet brave and free, our heroes fought and died. Long since they laid their swords to rest, opponents side by side. To them we pledge a promise deep, whatever on life's way. A treasure next the heart will keep this sweet memorial day. Reviewing their brave deeds again, we pledge another vow, that ever in our country's cause we'll stand allied as now. That for our heroes' sake in youth, our age shall know no wrong. That on the side of God and truth, for peace we'll e'er be strong.
Thank you. Our next speaker is going to present a remembrance of August Schimmelfennig. Kathy Ratchie could not be here today. She's the Vice President of Milton Township Friends of Pioneer Cemetery. So may I introduce Dr. Anna Quinzio-Zaffron, the Adjunct Professor at NIU, teaching graduate students, facilitator for 2 cohorts, and for the National Board of Certified Teachers, editor of a new book, The New Teacher's Guide of Overcoming Common Challenges, and for 27 years, my wife.
I'm here to represent Kathy Ratchke, member and vice president of Friends of Milton Township Pioneer Cemeteries, who welcomes you to Jewell Grove Cemetery today. Kathy has special feelings for these sacred grounds because part of her history is buried here. Kathy's great-grandfather, August Schimmelfennig, is buried here. And I'd like to relate a bit of August's story. Auguste married Henrietta Garmont early 1860s. Henrietta's younger brother, Carl Garmont, who was born in 1842 and died in 1908, emigrated to America and became a farmer living on County Line Road near Jewell Road. Carl enjoyed the farmer's life in America, so he encouraged Auguste and Henrietta to join him here in Illinois. He saved enough money to afford to send Auguste and Henrietta's whole family fare to America. Leaving Germany behind, Auguste Schimmelpfennig, his date of birth is unknown, his wife Henrietta Garmont Schimmelpfennig, who was born in 1840 and died in 1925, and their 6 children, ranging in age from 6 to 17 years old, came to settle in America in 1883. They were on the water for 7 long weeks. They don't tell about how long it took for them to get from New York to Illinois. Auguste found work as a section hand for the Northwestern Railroad. He was one who did the backbreaking work of laying and maintaining railroad tracks in the years before the work was done by machine. Sadly, though, 4 months after arriving here in DuPage County, Auguste was killed by a train, leaving his wife widowed and his children fatherless. Auguste Schimmelpfennig was buried in this cemetery nearby the Jewell and Cooley family members. Following his death, Henrietta left Carl's farm on County Farm Road. She took her family to Wheaton, where she washed clothes and did housework for others. She had a hard life without her husband, Auguste, living the next 43 years as a widow until she died in 1925.
In a way, kind of sad about what the women couldn't do at that time without education. I also like to say that many people here have heritage in the Civil War. My lovely wife, she is a DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, and her great-grandfather, Charles Seville, a very rich man from Kankakee County, gave it up to serve our country in 1865. So she's also part of the GAR. So there you go. All right, Joellen, we have the wreath laying. Now I'd like to call upon Chaplain Jerome Kowalski. He's the National Chaplain Emeritus of the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War for the United States. For the world, maybe that'll be in a couple years, so we hope so. He's a great man and does a lot for our order. And I pray that he's with us for many, many more years at these ceremonies and as my partner in church.
What he's referring to is the fact that we sing in a choir together and I stand next to him. And because of that, I don't have to be very good. I can just follow his lead, which makes it so much more easy. I want to take out of my pocket right now something that's causing a lot of problems in our world today, right now. There are people who get very offended when you bring up things like patriotism, you bring up the whole race issue, you bring up things like Black Lives Matter, you bring up things that just really get people upset. And I'm going to give you something that really gets people upset. I have here a $20 bill. Whose picture's on the $20 bill? Jackson. Andrew. He's not If there's anybody who's offended by Jackson or Jefferson or Lincoln, you can give me those bills, and I'll make sure that you are free from that guilt. But what it says here that's so important is in God we trust. In God we trust. The supreme being who created us, who knew us before we left our mother's womb, the supreme being who put our parents together to marry, the supreme being who keeps us alive today, that is who we thank and who we put our trust in. You can't put your trust in money because this might go away. You can't put your trust any place else except in God. And if you agree with me, say amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. What better words could you have? Very short, to the point, and so true. We'll now have the rifle salute.
Detail. Ready. Aim. Fire. Cover. Arms. Shoulder. Arms. Ready. Order. Arms. Load. Six minutes. Fire. Load. I want one of those in my house. Ready. Aim. Fire. Shoulder. Arm. Shoulder. Arm. Order. Arm. Load. Ready. Fire. Load. Now ready. Aim. Fire. Cover. Arms. Shoulder. Arm. Ready. Fire. Right about. Just from the shoulder. Order.
I'd like to thank you all for coming. God bless America, and God bless our troops. I'd like to call now upon John Menino for some closing words.
I thought that program was fantastic. I think everyone here feels a little honored
this Memorial Day, I'd like to please give a round of applause for our reenactors and these great friends of the cemetery. Thank you to our neighbor back there. Did you like the cannon? Okay. So anyway, with that, I would like to say thank you for coming. Don't leave fast. We have some treats and some goodies there for you for all your hard work and all your listening work. We really appreciate this. Jewell Grove was the mark of the first one that we're going to do of 3. We'll be doing one in Pleasant Hill around the 4th of July, probably the 3rd. And then during Labor Day, we will have one at our very own St. Stephen Cemetery. Look forward to seeing all of you again. God bless. Thank you.